I said, it's my mile and I'm counting it. I had to walk it, and I did.
Okay, so we have CatchUp back at work
Misty,
in the greenhouse,
formerly
a.k.a.
known.
Misty, Grandma Misty, Chuck Wagon. So she's going to tell us the tale
Of my trip?
of her trip.
Okay, it started on a beautiful morning. And anyway, we made it up to the top of Springer, and it was wet, it was icy, it was slick, it was narrow, and by the time I got to the top, since I'm CatchUp, everybody else was ready to go back down because they'd been up there waiting for me. So anyway, I came back down, got to the parking lot, and my wonderful son-in-law said, why don't you go on ahead and then they'll catch you. So I did. I walked 5 miles. On the 5 miles, when I'm going to meet them at the waterfall, because I never plan ahead and don't read the articles and the maps and things, I was looking for a waterfall. Well, there are 5 waterfalls. So I stopped at each waterfall and had to wait to ask somebody, is this the waterfall? It was not. So I finally get to the waterfall, and it is breathtaking. It was absolutely beautiful. Nobody was there, just me. So there was this big rock. I decided, take my pack off, rest. So I laid on the rock, fell asleep, and when I woke up, I was in the middle of the biggest photo op for probably 20 different campers and hikers, and I am laying right in the middle of it. So I got up, felt like an idiot, tried to act like, I was there for a reason, and then I waited, and probably an hour later, Rachel and Lego came, and then we took off, went another 3 miles, and made it to our
Hawk Shelter.
Yes, Hawk Shelter. And it was nice. It was, and when
Tent
I walked
City.
up, you meet so many people. I had trail magic along the way. I met is it a ridge runner?
Yep.
I met a ridge runner. I mean, I was even offered beer. So, I mean, it was just a wonderful trip. Met tons of people. And then when I got up to the campsite, they actually cheered me when I walked in because I made it. And so, I got there. We set up camp. My camp was pitiful. Anyway, so that was my first day.
Her poor tent
Did not touch the ground.
No, it was not wonderful.
It was a 3-season, and we were in 4-season weather.
Yes.
So that night, I ended up having to put on every article of clothing I had brought, and put them all on to keep warm. Then I started getting bad leg cramps, but I was in a cocoon
Sleeping bag,
so I couldn't move. I didn't want to move very much because then I'd have to go to the bathroom. So
And every time you move on the mats, it sounds like crunching like it's loud.
Yes. And it was, so I would go down. Well, then I ended up with diarrhea. And I didn't want to use the privy to begin with, and then the next morning, after I froze to death, by the time I get my stuff packed up, it was pretty much time to go. I had to ask a guy to open my bear canister because I couldn't open it.
It was so cold.
It was so cold I couldn't move my fingers. So anyway, I had met a woman the night before, and she told me she was going to leave the next morning. So all night, every time something would happen, I'd think, I'm leaving. I'm leaving. And so I didn't say anything. We got ready. We started hiking. I went a little bit ahead because if I can, I try to walk ahead because they'll end up catching me because I'm so slow. And I get to go over the mountain.
In her defense, she's 67.
And I just had a hip replaced and I have bad knees.
Yes.
But anyway, no excuses. So, yes, they are. But anyway, so I go down the hill, I get to the bottom, and I'm thinking the whole way, I want to go home, I can't do this. And I kind of felt like, Rachel, it's her thing. And I met so many wonderful people, and I did not feel any fear for her because the people on the trail are awesome. And the angels, the trail ridge runners, they're all wonderful. They're there to help you. And so I didn't feel any fear to leave her. like I would be able to help her in anything anyway. But I guess I could have laid down and let the bear get me. But anyway, so I kept praying, Lord, if let that lady be there when I get to the bottom of the hill. And lo and behold, I got to the bottom of the hill and she was laying on the ground. And so I went over and laid on the ground beside her and hitched a ride.
And then she went to a hotel.
I went to it. They dropped me off at a hotel. I had not had any contact with my husband, who I'm in Georgia. He's in Ohio. He has no idea that 1 day and a half into it, I'm coming home.
How long did it feel like you were on trail?
Well, when I got home, I asked him, do you think the cats will remember me? And he's like, you've been gone 2 days. But it felt like a week. And so they did remember me.
So then we called her. Jack and I called her from the trail that day and made arrangements for her to come down.
Back down
and
to Georgia.
And be a trail angel for us, but also other people. So she got to meet a lot of the people we were hiking in and around and give water. And I told her to bring trash bags because that was my biggest concern.
And I took oranges. She had a jar of condiments that she had been saving over the months. So I had the jar of condiments because you kind of forget that.
How many people do you think you saw would come through?
Probably the first day I saw a lot. And it kind of thins out, probably with the ones that have quit or they spread out. But I probably, maybe 50.
Yeah.
And they were all, I never met one rude person. I was able to actually give my trekking poles to one girl because she ended up somehow only having one. And we were able to give them lots, take their trash. They liked the oranges. We also had fruit roll-ups, that type of thing. And
she met people
cashews.
From Romania?
Romania. I met a guy from Romania. I met all over the United States. And they were all just single-minded, wanting to do the trail, and they were wonderful. They were I recommend it to anybody. Even if you're just going to be a trail angel, go out there and meet them.
Even for a day to see the view and
yes, it was wonderful.
See what it is.
It was absolutely breathtaking. And when you drive down in there, it kind of shocked me when we were on the drive in. I live in Ohio where there are small
hills.
And when I saw the large mountains and I realized that's where I was going, it was very overwhelming. So be prepared for that. And but it was wonderful all the way. I had on my trip, I had a flat tire. I had a
dead
battery. I had all kinds of things happen, but it just added. And all the people I met were so wonderful, and so everything was good. Everything was good. I don't have one regret.
And we appreciated having somebody to bring a lighter pack and all of that stuff. So even though it wasn't what we thought initially, it still has been fun.
Yes.
And she still gets to participate.
Yes. And I still get to see these people.
Yeah.
That you can, I mean, they hug you. Even though they're dirty, I could care less. I could care less.
We stink on trail.
Everybody stinks. But it's just been a wonderful, and if, like I said, if you can get out there just to do trail magic, to go to a hostel, there's 2 that we went to that have the shoes hanging in the tree, and when you walk under that, it's just such a neat experience, and
Grandma,
it's awesome.
how many hours were you in the car driving in the 1 week?
Oh my gosh. I was longer in the car driving than I was on the trail. But that's okay. It was all good.
So this is Seamus.
Yep.
Come this way.
What number is
I
he?
can't see it. So he is number 3, and he will be joining us on our next leg of the trip. So we're excited, and he's hoping to see snakes. That's his.
And turtles.
And no bears. He wants snakes and no bears. And then that is my dad who picked her up, her trail angel. Came down and rescued her. So, but that's the story of CatchUp becoming. Her new name is Chuck Wagon.